Hey guys, it's Crystal. Last time I'd asked you guys what inner struggles you were facing to follow your muse, and Susan had mentioned perfectionism. Now this really hit home to me because I have been struggling with this since for as long as I can remember, and it seems like I was born with this tendency. But now more than ever, the idea of perfectionism is starting to come from society. It starts with school, where you're trying to get that most perfect grade on your paper or in class, and now with all these advertisements where even the most beautiful women are being photoshopped to unrealistic perfectionism. When deep down we all know that perfectionism is really impossible to obtain. There's really no such thing as perfection if you think about it, because we're all different, and who gives who the right to say that this is how it should be, this is what perfection looks like? And this idea of perfectionism is really starting to be a big contributor to depression in many people's lives, because if you're striving for perfection and you don't obtain it, like most people can't, because what's perfection? If you can't obtain that perfection, you start to believe that there's something wrong with you, and that leads you to believe that you're a failure. Creativity is supposed to be unique and original, but when you're striving for perfection, you're really just stifling your true creativity and your freedom to create. Someone recently told me about a book called Art and Fear, and I haven't ordered it yet, I haven't read it yet, but inside of this book, they talked about a study that was done on a pottery class. And what they did was they split the class into two parts, and the first half, they instructed them that their assignment was to create one perfect vessel, and they were going to be graded on the quality of the vessel. And the second half was told that their job was to create as many vessels as they could. The more vessels they created, the higher their grade. So, in the end, it turned out that it was the second group whose job was to make as many as they could were the ones who actually created the more creative vessel and the more perfect vessel. Why? Because this group wasn't worrying about the outcome. They were able to free themselves and experiment more and be more spontaneous. But this also goes back to what I've written about previously, where it takes lots and lots and lots of practice of continually doing it to get to where you want to be. And you can't just sit down and for the first time create something perfectly from your head. It's not going to happen. Not even your first 100, maybe your first couple thousand, are you going to get to that point where you're really satisfied with your work. Creativity is not about quality, it's about quantity, at least at first. Because the more you create, the better you will get. And even if you look at somebody as famous as the Beatles, it took them thousands and thousands of hours of practice before they found their stride. And it's the same with anybody. Now this doesn't mean that you create everything half-assed just to rebel against perfectionism. You need to work on something until you are satisfied, and stop trying to please everyone, trying to meet their definition of perfect. You need to let go and create for the joy of creating. Do you struggle with perfectionism too? Do you find that it stops you in your tracks before you've hardly begun? Leave me a comment below and let's chat about it. I'll see you there.